when I went through my divorce, in the middle of my divorce, I also got laid off, which was last year. I also got laid off from my digital marketing job. And so I really hit square on the bottom of the floor, splat. My life took a huge just downward turn, which was when I kind of took a break from this channel for a while. And during that downtime, I set a goal. I'm going to pick myself up from all of this mess, and I'm going to achieve my goal. I'm going to do what I need to do to get there. And when I decided what I was going to do to approach that, I picked. Hello friends, welcome back to Gym Philosophy in the Morning. I'm the Gym Philosopher. And today I'm going to give you an honest update, just kind of a stream of thought about how my paid Game Master journey is going. Around January 1st, I began my attempt to become a full-time paid Game Master. And the truth is, as of March 1st, I left my JOB and I have gone to basically doing two things: running the YouTube channel and Gym Philosophy, and running my paid games. Now, at the moment, I have 3 paid games that are almost full, and I charge $20 a player, and 6-player max. Now, they're not all full. Sometimes they get full, and then we lose a player, and we kind of bounce around there. But right now, I've got 3 games going. I actually had 5 games going. However, there are going to be some adjustments in there as players shuffle around a bit. Anyway, long story short, this has bounced up and down just a little bit. But now we're pretty consistently running at 3 games that are just about full. And then we have probably another one in the making. Now, I'm going to give you a very honest assessment of this. In fact, yesterday I published an interview with DM Tom, which I'm going to link to up in here in a card somewhere. And that interview was really interesting because DM Tom pretty much makes a full-time living as a professional game master, though he also has a side hustle of doing fitness coaching on the side, he's a personal trainer. So this was very interesting to me. This was a great interview. Now, Tom has been doing this for about 5 years and is doing a really good job in the sense that it seems to be paying really well, staying consistent. He's definitely put the time into learning how to be a very good game master, learning how to run Foundry really well, really good at the technical sides of it, and obviously really popular with his players. He's got one group that's been together for over 3 years, and they're coming up on level 19 of their adventure. So obviously a long-standing group. These are all good signs. I also have seen really good signs of my games, even though I've been very new at it. I'm using Start Playing. If you'd like to play one of my games, you can find a link down in the description. But this video is going to be about basically a little bit of a thought I have about whether or not running paid games might actually be the best thing, what the money is like long term. And I just feel like there's some things we got to talk about passion for the craft, okay? And I will say that there was a small part of this that was inspired by my conversation with DM Tom yesterday. It is also true that a part of this was inspired just by me understanding myself better as I go through this journey, and me understanding better what it actually takes to be a professional game master, and me understanding better what the financial part of it looks like and could look like long term. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit and let's talk about what your goal is. And this is what I had to ask myself. What is your goal? Why are you doing this? What are you trying to accomplish? Okay, this is what I have to ask myself, what I have been asking myself during the month of March as I go through this process. Now, when I began this journey, I had a little bit of trouble with players coming and going, establishing the right players for me. I've kind of worked through all that. We're looking really good for solid players now. Player churn pretty much eliminated. Lots of good things happening in the games. Getting a solid group of players together, and even have some players wanting to join my other games because they enjoy the first one, so they want to join the others, and they think it's fun. However, when I take a step back and I look at the long-term plan and scheme of my life, I have to be honest that I do not see running pro games as being the career move for me. I see it more as being a side hustle / a hobby that I kind of monetize / fuel for content for the channel. And actually, I find the economic outcomes, when I stretch them out over time, far better for the YouTube side of things than for the paid games side of things. And this has led me to have a bit of a shift in my thinking about the prioritization of my games. And actually, this has brought me around to having some really good feelings about my games. And let me explain this. When I am running this channel, this YouTube channel, I make money in a few different ways. YouTube ad revenue, like so every time someone watches an ad, I make a little teeny tiny bit of money. It's a very teeny tiny bit of money. But in theory, if you get thousands of views, it adds up, right? Secondly, I make money by selling products. People can join my YouTube membership. This gets me a little extra money every month. People can buy my books. For example, I've got The Advanced Art of TTRPG Game Mastery. This book I created basically compiling 24 years of gaming wisdom into 50 pages, teaching game masters how to run emotionally resonant games that'll keep their players come back and wanting more. This book is still available for a limited time at its initial introductory price. If you respect me, you think I have good things to say, you think that I probably know how to run a good game of D&D, I would encourage you to buy this because you're pretty much going to get all the most important wisdom that I have to offer in the sense of creating emotional resonance in games. So you can grab that. But this book has helped me to monetize the channel a lot. It has helped to support the channel, and I get great reviews on it. It is a valuable product that offers people value and helps them to make their D&D games better. I've had some really cool DMs in my Discord say it is a must read. So this is a really good high marks. I also have other books. You can find links to them in the description. I've published quite a few books. But books help me to monetize a lot. And actually, going that direction with offering products on the channel, going for the ad revenue, these types of things, they're far more scalable long-term than paid games. But paid D&D games, which I also use to monetize the channel because I can market my games through my YouTube and my Discord, which if you haven't joined the GM Philosophy Discord, links in the description. It's free. We are at about 600 GMs strong now. It keeps growing every day. But when I think about my long-term future, I think, okay, DM Tom says that and he's been a pro. He's been doing this for like 5 years, full time. Like literally, it's his full-time job, but he does have a side hustle, but he does this like 5 days a week. He charges about $30 per person for games. That's about what he makes. So he makes significantly more than I do right now running games, which makes sense because I run games as sort of a newer pro GM, right? I've only been in the game since January, have almost 3 games full. And so I just have a lot less time in the game. I have a lot less street cred, as the kids might say. So it makes sense that Tom would be making more money than me at the running games. But then if we stop for a minute and think about this, when I think about what role I might want paid games to fill in my future, I think to myself, is it really the best use of my time personally to run paid games full time or to try to make that the path for me? And the truth is, there are actually 2 really important factors that lead to me saying, actually, no. I believe, for me, pursuing paid games is something I'm definitely going to do for the foreseeable future. Absolutely. I have 0 plans to stop any of my paid games. But I do wonder if I might kind of cap it at the 3 or maybe 4 that I have and not take on any more. And I do think I might change my reasoning behind why I'm doing it. Here's the 2 things. Number 1, DM Tom demonstrated during our interview how passionate he actually is for the craft of running games. He runs Foundry. He's a technical wizard at Foundry, which is a very complex VTT. He is incredibly immersed in the literal, detailed craft of running games, like to a degree that I can guarantee I will never be. Why not? This leads me to the second point. Because my passion, my actual life passion, and what I wake up thinking about every day isn't necessarily D&D. And it certainly isn't running paid games, though I love both of those things. They are things that I love a lot in life. But the thing that I get the most excited about in my life is actually YouTube, believe it or not. And creating content for this channel is what I think of the most. So for example, when I sit down to make videos for this channel, I love that. When I make thumbnails for this channel, I love it. When I am trying to figure out a good topic and how to choose topics that will help the audience. When I try to think about how I can sell more books through my videos or how I can increase my ad revenue price, like my ad revenue profits, these are very exciting problems to me that I love to think about. And I love to analyze the data. I would say that I get as nerdy about YouTube as a DM Tom gets about running paid games. So when I think about this, I realize a truth. And I know this truth. This truth has revisited me in my life many times. We should truly follow what we are passionate about, because when we do, we are going to be able to apply the full force of our efforts and intellect and power and abundance and talent toward that thing. If we pursue anything less, we are not going to truly be giving the best we have to offer in this life. And hence, there's a question that bears asking. Following that road, will we ever reach our fullest, truest potential? Now, I'm not trying to start an existential crisis for anyone with this conversation. We all do what we need to do in life to survive, and gods know that sometimes what we do for money isn't what we're passionate about, and that's okay. I'm not trying to say that anyone is wrong for going that path. That's the path that I have gone most of my life, and that many people live their whole lives going. You need to earn money to pay your bills and take care of yourself and your family. And that doesn't always have to align with your passions. If it does, then you are maybe considered lucky or fortunate, blessed even. But it doesn't have to be that way. Instead, what many people can do, what's much more realistic in this modern world we live in, is to say, I'm going to, do what I have to do to take care of myself and my family with money, but my extra time I'm going to invest in the things that I love and am passionate about. DM Tom, professional DM from Canada, is in a rare place in that he decided to pursue what it seems like he is most passionate about as a career. I don't know if that's true, but that's what it looks like from the outside. And when I see the amount of detail he puts into things like Foundry VTT and just getting so technical with his campaigns and making them so polished, which we talked about that a lot in the interview, it makes me realize, wow, he is so much more passionate about those things than I will ever hope to be. It would be hard for me to summon the attention to detail needed to go that deep into it. But I am willing to go as deep as I can possibly conceive on the YouTube side of things. So to bring this kind of around to the full point, here's what I'm saying. I believe that for me, what I have discovered is that I want to run paid games. I want to run the games I'm running because I love them, because D&D is something that I love as a hobby. But what I want to do as a career is YouTube. Now, D&D helps me with my YouTube because it gives me a tremendous ideas and content to help people. Also, in running paid games, I learn what is successful and not successful from a paid games perspective. And I honestly think that is exciting. And I am excited about delving into that. And I love talking about it. And it's also true that if I can do it, probably anyone can do it. So I think that gives me a unique position to speak from. And also, it's a great topic for this channel, Running Paid Games, because this is all about empowering game masters to run better games. However, it is true, I think, that when I also look at what I want my goals to be in life, it would be hard for me to reach those financial goals running paid games. For example, one of my first monetary goals I have for my life, and this is before we're taking into account paid games or YouTube or anything. One goal I have, the first financial goal I really have to reach, is I want to get to $100,000 a year in revenue. I've never made that much money before. That may seem, people might be surprised, or they may not be surprised. They might be like, whoa, I thought GM Philosopher made a lot more money than that. But no, I've always been, blue collar, working by the hour. I've been a carpenter in the past. I've been a roofer. I've worked retail. I've worked in the restaurant industry. I've worked in digital marketing. I definitely got the closest to reaching six-figure income when I was sort of like kind of back before ChatGPT, when I was writing as a professional writer and I was specializing in certain niches. I was writing books for people. I was writing blog posts. I was writing scripts for YouTube videos, white papers, all kinds of things. I definitely had reached the closest to six figures I'd ever gotten during that part of my career. And then ChatGPT hit and my business virtually went to zero. And then I had to pivot into project management, which led me to being a project manager in digital marketing. And then when I went through my divorce, in the middle of my divorce, I also got laid off, which was last year. I also got laid off from my digital marketing job. And so I really hit square on the bottom of the floor, splat. My life took a huge just downward turn, which was when I kind of took a break from this channel for a while. And during that downtime, I set a goal. I said, I'm going to make six figures. I'm going to pick myself up from all of this mess, and I'm going to achieve my goal. I'm going to do what I need to do to get there. And when I decided what I was going to do to approach that, I picked YouTube. I had dabbled in YouTube previously and thought I'll make it into a money-making thing, but I wasn't all in on it like I am now. Now I am 100% in on YouTube, on GM Philosophy, and on some of my other channels that are not nearly as far yet because they're newer. GM Philosophy is by far my biggest channel. But that's what I want to do. And when I look at my goal of reaching 100,000 a year, I realize it would take a lot to get there. Running paid games is my only source of income. But then again, unless you're doing something very specialized where you can command a high hourly rate, anytime you're trading work hours for dollars, you're going to be limited to what you can earn. Whereas on YouTube, the idea would be I can put in a set number of hours making videos every day. But over time, my audience does increase because I get more bandwidth. I get more marketplace value on YouTube because my audience grows. So it's reaching more people. So right now, I sell this many books per 1,000 views. So if I get 1,000 views, that's this number of book sales. But when I start getting 10,000 views, I will 10x the number of books I'm selling. And when you quantify the number of hours it takes to make a video and sell that many books compared to how many hours it takes to run a game and then what you make for it, YouTube is infinitely more scalable. Now, that is perhaps a third piece to the puzzle of me updating my goals and priorities in terms of being a paid GM and going all in on YouTube. What what I plan to do, what do I plan to focus on? Well, I plan to focus on becoming a successful YouTuber and digital marketer and writer because I want to write books and sell them and maybe even design other products and sell them. Maybe information products, maybe entertainment products. Maybe someday I will even produce a show or something like that on the heels of my love for D&D and story, whatever. But where does paid GMing fit into this? Well, this fits into it nicely because running paid games empowers me to talk about running paid games on my channel because I'm actually in the trenches doing it and I know what it takes. Number two, running the games gives me fuel for just running games in general, content for YouTube. I can talk about it. I will never run out of things to talk about because I'm running so much D&D. And then number three, and this is perhaps the thing that I've realized the most, is that I just love D&D. I love to play D&D. I look forward to it every single game. I love the stories. I love the players. And you know what? When I sit back and I stop worrying about the money part and I stop thinking, well, this is going to be my job, so I need to be financially successful at it. Here's the truth, guys. When I just let all that go and I just run the games and have a good time, ironically, the finance part of it does the best. Players stay. More players join. My players love my games better. Why? I think it's because I'm not overthinking it. And I think it's because I'm not approaching it with such a scarcity mindset or a fear mindset. I do not approach YouTube with a scarcity mindset or a fear mindset, partly because I feel like I thoroughly understand the game and I see my progress and I know what I need to do to get XYZ results. But running paid games, there are still some unknowns. It's a newer territory for me. So there are still unknowns, and those tend to be sometimes the things I fixate on. But at the end of the day, here's where we've come to in my update. Yes, I'm going to keep running paid games. Yes, I'm going to try to fill those games up and run the best games I know how. And yes, I'm going to continue to develop my craft at running paid games successfully. And I'm going to continue to talk about it on this channel, just like I'm going to continue to talk about D&D on this channel. But the truth is, when I look at my life and how I'm going to make the majority of my money and where I want to spend the greatest amount of priority, the truth is I am a YouTuber and digital marketer first. That is kind of where I've arrived at. I'm very happy with that. I feel very peaceful about that. And that is where I'm going to leave it for this video, guys. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Roll a couple D100s for me at your next game, guys. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. I am looking forward to the next video. We're in it to win it. I'll see you awesome people on the next one.